What's up, y'all? Jeff Anderson here with One Fish, Two Fish. Today, I'm doing a YouTube takeover for Florida fishing products. And today, I want to talk to y'all about catching speckled trout in the wintertime. So right now, we're going into kind of the early January, February time frame. And we've been catching tons of speckled trout even up here in Virginia Beach. So I know y'all down in Florida, Texas, Gulf Coast, you guys are tearing speckled trout up all winter long. So today, I'm going to talk to y'all about how to maximize your speckled trout and catch that big gator trout this winter. So let's start off with talking about some of the more popular lures that we're going to be fishing for speckled trout with in the wintertime. So in the wintertime, we want something that's going to have a little bit slower fall rate to it. These trout, as the water temperatures decrease, even in your Florida areas and Gulf Coast, are going to be a little bit slower. So we want something that's going to stay in the strike zone a little bit longer. So right here, I've got a Mirror lure. This is a Mirrodine XL. This is an excellent, really lure to use all year round for speckled trout, but especially late fall, winter, springtime. It's amazing because it's gonna stay in that strike zone. You know, we get that slower fall rate. It's almost gonna suspend right there. So you're gonna fish it just a little bit slower. You can even wait about 3 to 4, even sometimes 5 seconds between each twitch of your lure. So you wanna fish it really slow, almost painfully slow in the wintertime. Another lure that we're gonna be using for speckled trout in the wintertime is just the trusty old jig head. This is a 3/8 ounce jig head. In the wintertime, we want to be using a 1/8 ounce jig head or even a 1/4 ounce jig head. So I just so happen to have a 3/8 ounce jig head tied on right now, but for the winter time, we want to be using lighter jig heads because that's going to give us that slower fall rate. So we have this Z-Man Paddler Z, and with this Paddler Z right here, you get some great action in it with the tail. So even with your 1/8 ounce or your 1/4 ounce jig head, as it's falling even slow, you're gonna get a slow side-to-side motion, and that's what's gonna key in on those trout. So wintertime, you got your hard plastics. You know, we want something that's gonna be suspending right there in the strike zone. And then if you like your soft plastics as well, I love soft plastics because they're very versatile. You can fish them on the bottom. You know, you can also swim it. So when I'm fishing for trout in the wintertime, I'm gonna have these two setups in my arsenal, in my quiver. So I'm gonna have a Mirror lure and I'm gonna have a soft plastic. I'll pretty much have like 2 different soft plastics. I'll have a 1/8 ounce and a 1/4 ounce. You know, again, if you're fishing a flat, shallow flat, you're fishing mangroves, whatever, you know, make sure you're gonna be throwing that 1/8 ounce jig head. That's just gonna give it that slower fall rate. All right, y'all, so this right here is really everything that I use in the wintertime for hard plastics. So I've got my Mirrodine XL right here. Love the profile. You know, again, just that slower fall rate. This Paul Brown is an awesome lure to throw over oyster bars in the mangroves and just throughout Florida. The Paul Brown is amazing. You do have a little bit of a slower fall rate than the Mirrodine, and it's just gonna kind of almost like just a great action right below the surface. So you can throw this up in the mangroves and everything, catch yourself even a snook as well. Another thing I'm gonna let y'all in on, a little secret up here in Virginia Beach, is go get yourself a jerk bait. This is a Megabass Vision 110. This is a largemouth bass fishing lure. Pretty much any largemouth bass fishing lure is gonna work with speckled trout. This jerk bait right here, it tears them up for speckled trout in the wintertime. Again, this is a Vision 110 Megabass jerk bait, and just everything about the fall rate, the action, and it's just the profile of this as well. So anyways, y'all, this jerk bait is highly, highly effective, especially in the wintertime. So let's talk about tactics in the wintertime and where these trout are gonna be. Generally speaking, these trout, they're gonna be pushing into the backs of creeks. They're gonna be locating some of that more darker, muddy bottom where they can find that warmer water and where the sun is nice and high in the day, or as high as it's gonna get. Those trout are gonna come up in there and they're gonna get into that warmer water. So the trout are gonna be also just a little bit slower, a little bit more lethargic. You really wanna be keying in on the water temperature. 1 to 2 degrees in water temperature could mean everything to these speckled trout. So when I'm locating speckled trout in the wintertime, my eyes are on the water temperature and my electronics to see what that water temp is. Here in Virginia Beach, right now the water temp's about 49 degrees, but in the backs of the certain creeks, it's up to 52 to 53 degrees, and that's where we're finding those speckled trout. So down in Florida, it's the exact same up and down the East Coast, across to Texas. You guys, in the wintertime, these trout are gonna be finding water that they are most comfortable in. They're gonna be keyed in on survival in the wintertime. We're gonna be looking in those kind of backwater creeks to locate those speckled trout. So hopefully that helps y'all out. Quick little tidbit on how to stay keyed in on speckled trout in the wintertime. I'm Jeff Anderson, One Fish, Two Fish, and you guys get up off your butt, go catch yourself a big old speckled trout. Peace out.